Hi everyone, my name is Wendy Bauman and today I'm going to be telling you about the AET, which stands for Agricultural Experience Tracker. I was first introduced to this tool when I took my first ag class and learned what an SAE was. So basically, an SAE is a supervised agricultural experience, which is essentially an agricultural job or activity that a student might have. So the AET is a great tool because students are able to access the website, which is the AET.com, from their computers at home or at school or on their phones. So it really doesn't require a lot of extra setup or extra technology for students to use. So let's get started. Basically, in short, the main function of the AET is to track a student's experience of their SAE. We'll dive more into that later, but to get you kind of familiar with it right away, that's just essentially what it is. So right now, we're on the home page. As you can see, there's lots of resources um, for before you even log into the website. On the top right here, there's links for teachers and students to go to if they need assistance with the AET, as well as Explore SAE and AET in the classroom, which are tools for how you can integrate integrate SAEs and AET in the classroom. Um, Additionally, there's always an SAE being featured right here in the middle, which is kind of a cool thing. So if you look on the left side of the screen, you can see that there's a spot that says free tools. So it's important to mention that the AET is not free for teachers to use and students to use. You must subscribe to it, but there are free tools which you can look at. So the first one is calendars. So you can click on it and it'll take you to a list that says has a list of all the different FFA chapters across the country that utilize AET. Mine's already synced up to my home FFA chapter, so you can see the calendar of events, which is great for students and parents and teachers to just be able to quick look at to see what's on the calendar coming up. Additionally, there's also practice AET, so we'll take a look at that. This is where you can have kind of a free 90-day trial of how to see how the AET works and see if, maybe a teacher would think that it'd be beneficial to have in their classroom if a student wanted to register just to have a place where they could put their records. That's what this is for. So now we're going to log in and get started. So um, as you can see here, this is the login page. Each chapter has their own individual chapter code. So, for example, my FFA chapter is MN0139. So I'm going to log in, click. Each student is given their own individual login code, so they have their own personal AET account. So my AET looks different because I'm on the student account. I don't have a teacher account because I'm still registered with my FFA chapter, but it's nice to kind of get this point of view because as a teacher, you'll be helping students a lot, figuring out how do I enter this? What do I do with this? Rather than going on the teacher profile to do your own personal things, you'll be working with the students a lot more. So right away, we're going to start with looking at the left side of the screen. So there's a place kind of where students can go to look at their own individual things. So we have an inbox where you can send messages to your teacher or to other classmates to kind of keep in touch with them. You have a calendar, which is automatically synced to your FFA chapter. You have a portfolio, which is where students can go to upload pictures of them doing their SAE, as well as a number of other different tools. There's a place where you can go to ask help or how to use it in a classroom. There's also a section which displays your current financial standings, which is kind of nice if you just want to get a quick look at that. So the four main places that a student will go on the AET are their profile, their journal, their finances, and their reports. So we'll be talking a little bit about each of those in depth. We're going to get started with the profile. So here students are able to manage their settings right on this About You section. They're able to manage their settings, record their egg class schedules, and put more information about other activities they're involved in into a resume. One of the primary goals of AET is to introduce students to those professional skills. So, writing a resume, talking about their experiences professionally, recording their hours, and keeping records of what they're doing. Those are things that AET really strives to get students familiar with. Yeah, so then there's this Your Activity section. So these are the places where students will enter information about their FFA experiences as well as where they go to establish their SAE. So we're just going to take a quick look at that. So if you go to Experience Manager, here you can see all my past SAEs that I've had in the past. It's just basically an overview of what your SAE is, how many hours you have or how much money you have invested into your SAE, what type it is. AET has a number of different types, what it's called, things like that. So students will go, they'll push Add New, and here they can fill out a bunch of different information about their SAE, and what areas it fits in, what they want it called, and things like that. So we'll go back to Profile. There's also a section, this right here is called Your Interests, which is kind of cool because students are able to explore different agriculture career pathways and different educational interests they might have. So we'll just take a quick look because it's kind of cool. So you can go select different things, you can push the plus button, see what different types of ag careers there are, which is a really great additional tool that the AET offers to help students think more about their future too. So now we'll move on to Journal. All right, so this is a place where students will document their SAE. If you look on the right side, you can enter your time for a number of different activities. So whether that be community service, time doing an FFA activity, time in the classroom, or time doing your actual SAE, that's the section right here on the right where you would go. And then here on the left is where your Experience Manager is, which is the page that we just looked at before to kind of see all of your different SAEs all in one place, as well as the review your journal entries. So we're going to take a look at that. This here is kind of a cool place where students can just go look at all of their SAEs hours in one place, and so they can really see all the things that they've done in all of their SAEs. You can go to the top and choose which ones you want to view, which experiences, and for what year. So it's kind of a cool way to do that. Similar to the journal page, there's a finances page where students can go and record their financial information. It's very similar to the recording your hours. It's a bit more complicated since it is dealing with money, and there's a lot more to that than just entering hours, so we're not going to go into the fine details. But students can enter all their financial information into this page. And finally, we'll go to the reports page. To sum it up, this is where students can generate reports and further document their experiences. So on the left-hand side, you see the journal and resume reports, which is basically a place where they can go and review all of their journal entries and create a report to generate whether they want that for themselves or to submit for a class or something like that. That's where they would go. On the middle section, the SAE and profit reports, it kind of breaks down the individual aspects of the financial piece of having an SAE, and lets students take a closer look at that. And then finally on the right side is the annual reports and FFA apps. This is where students can take a look at their SAE and profits and all their financial information kind of from an annual view, as well as apply for different FFA award applications. Overall, the AET is an amazing tool for students in agricultural education to utilize and document their experiences in and out of the classroom. I've had a lot of really great experience with it, and it really helped me develop professionally. It allows students to create a detailed profile about themselves and document the things that they love to do, which is really cool because then they get to kind of take a hold of what they want to learn and share that with other people. So I'll be teaching high school students when I become an ag teacher. So I would say that the AET is a perfectly suitable tool for a student of high school age, or middle school too. Some ag teachers teach middle school. So teaching a student anywhere from grade 5 to grade 12, this is a tool that they can easily become familiar with and be very successful with. On the first go around, the AET can be a bit challenging to figure out, but thankfully the AET provides resources for teachers to teach their students how to use it effectively. And once again, integrating the AET in the classroom is actually quite easy. For example, students who participate in the Agri-Science Fair are encouraged to document their hours and the details of their project into the AET so that when they're ready to create their science fair report or put their science fair board all together and share it with the people who are judging the Agri-Science Fair, it'll all be right there ready to go. Another great way to integrate it into a classroom is for students who take summer ag as a credit. I know I did in high school, and I loved having the AET right there for me to use. That way, students are able to keep their records up to date while they're not in school anymore, but they're able to access the AET, and they're also able to keep in contact with their teacher should they have any questions or want to invite them out for an SAE visit, which is a really common thing to do. So, with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned lots about the AET.